Hello everyone, welcome to our channel, Doom Productions. We make films and videos about films and filmmaking. Today, we're talking about organization. Organization is that thing that you really have to do if you want to get into movie making, but it's not the fun stuff of filmmaking. No one goes to school to learn how to organize. We go to school to learn how to shoot a scene, or how to direct people, or how to write, or study films. We don't learn to use Google Docs or Excel spreadsheets. But organization is absolutely key if you want to be organized in your film productions. So, a lot of you have asked us before how we organize our shoots or how we schedule things out. So I wanted to take the opportunity today to show you all how I do that, give you an in-depth look at our schedule for our feature film, Video Carnage. If you haven't seen Video Carnage, check it out. The link will be in the description. There'll be a card. It's a movie that we released last May, and so definitely check it out because we might spoil some stuff in this look at the schedule. But without further ado, here is the schedule for that movie. What I use for organization, first off, is something called Google Sheets. If you don't know how to use Google Sheets, there will be lots of tutorial videos on that online, I'd imagine you can find. I kind of just clicked around and figured out what I could and couldn't do, and if I didn't know how to do something, I would Google the answer. So I'm not going to show you how to use Google Sheets, but this is what my Google Sheet looks like. So up top, pretty clear, I have the title, Video Carnage. I think you might be able to hear my family talking, so ignore that. Thank you for bearing with that. Over here, I have a column called Film, and in this column, I would essentially check off if I had filmed a scene or had not. Here is the scene numbers. Here is the the slug line, the interior or exterior, the location, the time of day, the description, the cast, any props or any notes on the scene. And so the first thing I do when I organize, before I even think about the shooting days and everything, is I just go through the script scene by scene, and I plug in all that information in here. Usually I don't even have the filmed column. Usually it just looks like this, and I go through and I label every scene, and as you can see, there is a ton of stuff. So this process can be long, can be a little bit tedious, but if you're like me and you really want to be on top of stuff, I think it's really important to be able to organize and have a system in place that makes sense to you. And that's a key thing here, because this makes sense to me, but it might not make sense to other people. So I would encourage you to play around and find a system that works for you. And this is what I found helps me the most. And usually what I do is if I'm filming, we'll get to how I use this when I'm filming later specifically, but when I'm thinking about the days, just having all the scenes listed out with everything I need, all the cast members, what the scene's about, what's happening, the time, the day, the location, that is really helpful for me. So this is step one. After I do that, as you can see down here, there are different sheets, and they are organized by character and kind of content, if you will. Video Carnage was a little bit unique because what I found out was that I knew that I wanted to film at my aunt and uncle's house, and I knew that wasn't a location that I could just go to anytime. I mean, they're pretty open. I'm sure that would have been fine with them, but I didn't want to be just popping in and out all the time, annoying them, and all that kind of stuff about, just I wanted to be courteous of their time. And so I wanted to get the Vincent House stuff done as soon as possible. So what I did was, sorry, I'm checking down the sheets. Okay, yeah, just double checking. What I did was I took out all the scenes from here that took place at Vincent's house. So you notice that probably doesn't start probably till scene 40-ish or so. Let's take a look. I'll get to the colors in a second, but as of now, it's just the blues are very kind of arbitrary. Again, just in a way that makes sense to me. So Vincent neighborhood, Vincent house. So I went down and I would copy these scenes and I would paste them into a new sheet over here. And so what I did was I put all of the scenes down in this sheet that took place in Vincent's house. Then what I would do is I would organize it by who was in the scene. So you notice all of this stuff pretty much is just Mike. There's a little bit of Vincent and Sam in there, but it's mostly just Mike. This is all stuff that I could shoot just by myself, essentially. Then you'll notice down here, the second day we filmed at Vincent's house that I had scheduled, we have Sam and Mike and Vincent. And actually, the thing about these scenes is all three of them are in the scene and in the coverage, but I knew that I could film just our coverage of Mike and Sam without Vincent. So this is everything that I could film with just Sam and myself. Then I got to down here, and this is more stuff where it's instead of Mike and Sam, it's Mike and Vincent. So this is everything that I could shoot with Vincent. So that's Travis here. And again, you might see Sam's name pop up, but I knew that May didn't actually have to be there, that they could be at home relaxing, and I could just film with Travis. And Ethan, of course, who's there every day. This stuff is all just Vincent. And this stuff down here is stuff that includes the three of us. So this is stuff. These are scenes that I knew that we had to film with the three of us physically there together, and we organized it not in this way by person. That way, if you go in chronological order, while that makes a lot of sense and is really helpful in the storytelling aspect of it, that's just not logistical, and it can be a real pain to that would just drag all the days out if we filmed the first scene with just a couple people, then we went back another day, and it would just drag on forever. That's a process that doesn't really work for me and how I shoot my movies. But again, there's no wrong answer. This is just how I do it. And I don't know if I think we ended up shooting probably a couple more days at my aunt and uncle's house. And this is way more messy than what a normal shooting schedule would be. I mean, after I've gone in here, this is pretty much me tweaking and changing things up a bit at this specific location. And you'll notice that there are some extra columns over here. This time thing, you see, instead of over here having if a scene was done or not in this column right here, this time thing over here told me what time of day that I had to shoot the scene. So it might not be real. These actually don't give a great example, and it kind of only makes sense to me in my own notes way. But if you come down here, I broke down specific times of where would we be, because this all pertains to the interior exterior location. That pertains well to the world of the film, but when it comes to the actual the physical location that's relevant to me, this helps me a lot more being more separate, because right here I knew that if we were shooting this sequence right here, that we were going to be both inside and outside my aunt and uncle's house, and we had to start it at 8:45 p.m. I knew that we had about an hour to shoot, an hour and 15 minutes to shoot before we moved on to this thing, which was inside. Again, it's not very clean and nice as I would like it, because as I film the movie, if I'm there on set, I'm having this Google Sheet pulled up on my phone, and I am referencing it. And what I do is I'll take a column and I'll change the color based on if I've finished a scene or not. Sometimes different colors means different things to me, and that's why all these scenes are this kind of yellowish tan color. And if you go over to this next stuff, it's the same deal. It's more or less the same thing. Again, I have some times listed down here. I have the days, I have the locations, and this isn't really helpful when it comes to probably talking about this after the fact, because this is all really neat and clean and organized before I shoot the movie, but then as I shoot, I start changing things around, I start moving stuff around. But I think this makes a sense right here, this column, right? How this is laid out. This is telling you that we were shooting this section at 9 p.m., we're shooting this at 9:15, 9:30, and so on and so forth. And you'll notice that I have the locations jotted up here. So I break down the script by first I did by Vincent's house, because I knew I wanted to get this out of the way. Then I broke it down by character. And you'll see that Sam has a couple of days because we had some scheduling issues. So once when we would change the schedule a little bit, it kind of helped me clear my plate. If I crossed off everything on this sheet and then I just started a new one and kind of moved some stuff around. Again, this makes sense to me. well, most of it makes sense. Some of it doesn't make sense to me because it's been a while since I've opened this document, but may not make sense to you, but this is what, a sheet for Sam's character. So this is everything that takes place with Sam. This is, I have the locations up here. I have different colors. I'm going to be honest, I don't know what the green colors mean. I don't know what these mean. I want to say that this was from the very last day of shooting. Yes, this was from, I'm 90% sure this is from the very last day of shooting, because the last thing we shot was these car shots. It was kind of from bits from the climax, but with just May and myself. And why it's green is I'm pretty sure is because after I finished shooting everything, I was like, I don't need to check it off. I know I have it done. So I was kind of a little lazy in that regard. For Travis's stuff, Vincent's day, there's not a whole lot going on here. So that's kind of cool. It's a little bit more neat and organized, a little bit more straightforward because we're filming at Mike's house here. So this is a little more straightforward because we have Mike's house, we have the town, we have basement, we have just voice stuff, and then we have my stuff, which is probably the most stuff going on here. As I said, the sheets get very messy, so this looks very different. There's a lot of missing spaces here. I'm assuming what happened was, as we were filming this stuff, I would kind of drag things down to the very bottom to give it a more concrete schedule. So, for instance, we probably went through all of this stuff. We probably didn't get to this stuff this day, or something came up. So what I did was I just copied and pasted it down here and rearranged it, and I broke it down by location. I know I broke it down by location because I knew that this stuff down here, we were driving around physically in the car. So I knew, okay, we're going to go to the gas station first, car next, or it's just going to be in a car, going to Goodwill, Winco, Taco Bell, car, Ethan's house, so on and so forth. Sam's stuff is more or less the same. Again, each of these sheets kind of looks a little bit different because, as you go through making a movie, it does get a little messy. And so what I'll do actually, I didn't know I was going to do this, but what I'll do is I'm going to show you what a clean schedule looks like for a movie that has not been shot yet. A movie that I haven't really talked about a whole bunch, called Two Little Girls. So that's it for Video Carnage. So I'm going to hop on over to my projects file. If there's anything sensitive information, I'm just going to blur it out. I'm not going to worry about spoilers because, again, I will blur it out. And here we go. So here is my schedule for Two Little Ghosts, my next movie. It's Halloween themed, if you didn't know. I'm definitely going to be censoring some of the text here because I don't want to spoil anything. But this is what a schedule looks like before I've shot the movie. So this one is pretty short. It's only got 110 scenes. And this is the master copy. I have One Little Ghost right here. I have it broken down by, right up here is I have the physical location, and then if there's a location within the location, so like outside of this house, this is inside of the house. And this yellow column right here dictates I'm going to try to shoot all of this stuff in one day. And so down here, if I jump down here and here, this is the same location. This would be another day, and this takes place inside the house. And the colors, again, they're laid out in a way that it makes sense to me and just to help me keep track of stuff. And the days are unspecified because I know that it's a little too early to put down on a calendar when a specific day will be or what order it will be, but I know that ideally I can shoot all this stuff in a day. So here's another one. Here's another location. So if it's in black, bold text, that's a new location pretty much. So we have work right here. That can go well with the cemetery right here. So I know that I want to shoot this stuff all in one day. I know that I want to shoot this stuff all in one day. And here's another character that we have. Same deal. So we have a main location broken down, within the location. And even within these little columns here, you'll notice that exterior ghost, here, We're shooting outside. Scene 46 takes place during the day, so we're going to shoot that first. But scene 51 takes place at night. So I know that we're going to shoot that second because it'll turn nighttime. And I want to save that for later in the shoot rather than earlier. And I try to break down these within these big orange columns, I try to break it down by time of day as well. So you'll notice that there's a lot of nights together, a lot of days are together, and so on and so forth. This is kind of obscure and a little bit different, but this is kind of stuff that I know that I can get on my own, essentially, more or less. So yeah, that's what I have broken down so far. This is what a proper clean schedule looks like of a movie before I've started making it, before it's all messy and everything. And yeah, so there you go. There was the schedule for Video Carnage, a movie that has been shot and is very, very messy and untidy, and schedule for Two Little Ghosts, which has not been shot yet. So that's the video for today. Thank you all for watching. I hope you found it educational and interesting, and I hope it helped you stay a little bit more organized when you're working on your movies. Or if you have a system of your own, I'd love to hear from you. Let me hear what you all do and how you all organize your films in the comments down below. Thanks for watching again, and I'll see you all on the next video.